Hello everyone, and I'd like to welcome you to my Doki Doki, talk slash review, whatever you want to call it. My name is Aiden. If you're new to this, I'm happy to have you watch the video. If you are new, you're just looking for some reviews on Doki Doki, I do actually have a full playthrough of the game on the channel. It's in a playlist, my blind playthrough. Then I kind of go through the content I missed, just to get the full experience, because it really is a great experience. I also, just warning, I'm more of an unscripted kind of just go with the flow kind of guy. So it's kind of a just kind of a wing it review, but I'll talk about my points and stuff. I think it's a great experience. I can 100% why I see it had so much success. I actually had an interesting conversation where I claim that it's like the most, like, I think it's might be the most popular visual novel out there. Obviously it's not traditional. It's fresh, it breaks boundaries, which I think is a plus. I consider it a visual novel. I always think of the visual novel genre as more of, well, as a form of literature. Not to, yeah, obviously, not to play with it, but like, instead of like a specific like region locked thing. And I consider this a visual novel just with modern elements to make it very good. Obviously there's a bunch of aspects like free to play, lots of big named online celebrities talking slash reading it, and that would normally not delve into the genre, giving it a boost. So whatever the case, I think it is, even if it isn't technically, I think it is extremely popular. And like I said, I can see why. On the horror aspect, obviously, it kind of seems like a game where you're supposed to be surprised by the horror, or that it's a horror game. But obviously, because of its size, that's just not the case. And I guess you can argue from the way it's described and the warnings, it's actually not the case. But it still somehow manages to surprise you with how it works. Obviously it's a very meta experience, which is cool. It hits you with it definitely like sort of guides you to the natural conclusion that it's interacting with you playing the game, not the characters, since the characters just going through with all this messed up stuff and just doesn't talk. It hits you with like the major details, the major glitchy stuff, and like some small stuff you like might miss if you're not looking correctly. If you like really care, there's a bunch of Easter eggs. Apparently, not even I've seen all of them, but like in the actual game files, you might get some special files here and there. Like just a very fun, very almost refined system that I think just worked wonders. If you do this unique brand of horror, it will almost undoubtedly be successful in sort of a mainstream market, just because I feel like horror in general can be very mainstream, because it's just such an extreme feeling that it can hit most audiences, more audiences. Like I feel like the genre of horror is more accepting to lots of different kinds of horror compared to some of the other stuff, which is a little more stricter. So yeah, I can see the appeal. I thought it was a great experience. As for people who are more into traditional novels, traditional visual novels, I guess I should say, I still think it's a good experience. I mean, it might get a little trippy, but all in all, and it might seem, I know I've heard some people call it a bit novel, like not novel as visual novel, but novel as like sort of a novelty. And I can understand that, but I think it's a little more well crafted and and good. I think it's good. As someone, who's not a veteran in visual novels, but had probably a nice fair share of good ones, this was definitely a revitalizing experience, because I'll be honest, in general, most of my experiences with visual novels, despite me, like, basically my channel being about it, isn't, like, the best. Like, I've had some bad ones. I've had a lot of okay-ish ones, even some of the popular ones I just thought it was okay, and obviously I have like the upper echelon that I really like, and this definitely like is like close to the upper echelon. It's fantastic. The fact that it's free is kind of mind-blowing, and like I'm sure there's funding. Like, I don't know, I didn't look up the backstory, like maybe there was some sort of funding source, and obviously you can buy like the $5 Steam thing with some bonuses, but free? Like, this is definitely a game worth paying at least like a bit. Like, I'd pay like $10-15 for it. It's kind of blows my mind with, and I'm guessing a fairly small team. I mean, I don't know how big of a team you would need for a visual novel. I guess not that big, but I mean, it's just, it just makes me want to give a round of applause. I mean, I'll give a small one, But like, yeah, it's great, and I think it deserves a lot of the praise for what the creators have done. As for a story aspect, that's just like some of the technical stuff. Story-wise, I thought it was pretty interesting. I thought it fit very well. I really liked the ending. I mean, I had a conversation with someone who didn't like the ending as much as me, which is understandable, but I think it was very fitting for everything else in the story. I think obviously it appealed to meta, so it's a very meta story. Well, it turns out my other favorite visual novels are meta based, obviously not as meta as this one, but I do enjoy the meta talking, even though yes, it was over the top meta, but since it was purposeful, it didn't feel tasteless. It felt actually really good. I mean, yeah, solid story, unexpected, right? Going into this, I didn't know really about the meta stuff. I just knew it was a cutesy game. It was a cutesy horror game, which is kind of like a pretty popular trend in recent years. I say recent as a relevant term, like in the last 10 years, you've definitely seen a boom in the content. But yeah, it was unexpected, I was planning on just going through the routes afterwards. I mean, my first playthrough, I kind of just played the field a bit and got a little bit of everyone, but I thought after I ended, I would just simply restart, but then you get the whole glitchy stuff, the glitchy playthroughs, and it's just an absolute blast. The actual horror itself was pretty great. The first time going through the glitchy playthrough was very shocking. Obviously, there's a sense of nervousness through the main playthrough, just because you're like, I mean, this is doing great, but it still feels a little off-putting. I think the Sayori hanging scene is awesome. I think it's probably my favorite jump scare of the series. It literally made me jump every time I seen it, and if you watched the playthrough, I did mess up before on the cleanup stuff, so I had to watch it a couple of times. But yeah, great scene. Probably my scariest moment of this series, though, is the closet scene with Yuri in the Curse playthrough, with when they first revealed her like weird cut and paste moving eyes. That just got a very visceral reaction out of me. Like, I literally like covered my face with my hand and like was peeking between my fingers just because of how disgusting it was, and that was great. So yeah, brand of horror, great. I mean, in terms of, I feel like Natsuki as a character didn't that much spooked. I mean, technically Sayori didn't either, but during the cleanup, I was like, I was kind of excited to see what would happen if you matched Natsuki on the curse route, since I matched Yuri before. And you get a nice scare here and there, but it kind of just fizzled out into a Yuri route, which makes sense because of her amplified personality. But I mean, But at the end of the day, again, free game. I'm asking for more content, and just take what you can get it in. A good 10 hours of my time into a free game. That's just awesome. I said I loved the ending. The second ending, it felt more like an Easter egg. I'm sure some people liked it better because it was a little happier, but I'd prefer the bittersweet first ending. And then the third weird ending with it's just kind of funny. Not funny, but like cool. I like it. It's a good one. Music, I mean, there's a couple of soundtracks, obviously. I think the main star attraction is the theme song, and it is amazing. There's a lot of iterations, but I just love it. If you've watched the read through / playthrough, whatever you call it, I loved just humming parts of it. It is just an absolute earworm that I love to death. And just give you credit for making such a great song. It is so good. I think out of all the versions, I think the vocal one at the end is, I'm a little iffy on that. I can do without it, but I think everything else was solid. And the other songs are good too, but I mean, when I think of songs, I just think of the theme song. It's kind of almost overpowering in a way. What else? We have visuals. I mean, I like the art style. It has its own flair. Obviously it's emulating a little bit of not even classic, but a little like flat on the facial expressions. That's not really an insult, but yeah, I mean, it was good overall. I'm not really an arts guy. I kind of just take in whatever I get, unless something looks really janky to me, but in general, I liked it. CG wise, great CGs. My favorite being Sayori hugging the MC. All of the Sayori ones, all of the Natsuki ones were really good. The Monica one at the end was good. Yuri, all of hers was good. I really liked the chocolate one. The only one I kind of didn't like was the date with Yuri. Even though I loved her sweater, I think her sprite looked great. The sweater went great with her, but the CG looked a little janky to me. But yeah, but I love speaking of CGs, I love the effects in it, like in the chocolate one with Yuri with those little, I don't know, dust illuminated by the sunlight looked beautiful. I've never seen an animated CG. Well, I have, but I haven't seen one in a visual novel. I mean, that made sense. So that was good. Natsuki was cute. Natsuki's was cute too with the ladder. Character wise, I still think my favorite is Sayori. I think she wins my best poem too with her second one about bottled happiness and stuff. But yeah, Sayori's my favorite still. I'm gonna give second to Natsuki. It's kind of a hard choice for me, but I really liked her character too. She's pretty close up with Sayori. I'll give a tie to the other two. I feel like normally Yuri is kind of my least favorite, but she's definitely the scariest thing in a horror game, so I'll give it to her. That she's the queen of depressingness with her depressing aura, but her eye stuff is actually just nightmare feel. And Monica's a great character. I think her story is actually really good. It really brings together. It makes the meta idea not just a gimmick, because it's a great story. It's a side character in a game, in a romance game, finding out. Well, I'm just giving an example because it turns out no, it's not. But in general, it's a side character finding out they're just a character in the game, and the existential crisis. In the third ending, when Sayori just finds out she literally just hangs herself and goes out of despair. But yeah, it's great, good stuff. Am I missing anything? No. I've hit all the points, right? Characters. Yes. No, I mean, I feel like that's pretty good. I think I've covered all I really want to cover with this. I can't stress how good I think this is. I hope to see more from the developer. Again, it's a free game, so I hope the developer team, I forgot what the team's called, even though I see their logo every time I load it up. But I hope the team does have the funds to create another one. Like, I don't know how this was created, like if it was a sort of a Patreon system or like more of a Kickstarter or whatever, but I mean, I hope they have enough since they didn't monetize this this visual novel, because I would definitely read something else, because this is great and recommendable to literally anyone. I think definitely like has the most reach, where you can recommend it to someone who's not really into visual novels, in my opinion, just because of the horror. Obviously it might still be a bit weird if they have no idea what this is, but yeah, I think it's great. Anyways, wrap it up. Great experience, great fun. I literally had no problems with it. The only like problems I had were mistakes with myself trying to do stuff. Yeah, you know, I wouldn't mind voice actors, but that's like a huge investment, so it totally made sense for a free one, you know, just saying. If they did it in a future release, if they plan a future release, that'd be cool. But yeah, good stuff. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Again, if you're new, feel free to check the channel. We do some visual novels, we do some horror games, so you know, you get best of both worlds, and we do some horror visual novels. You have to ignore Say No Yuta, but you know, we have other stuff there, other stuff coming. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this review. I enjoyed it. And yeah, hopefully see you in the future. Thanks for giving me your time to watch this video. I appreciate it. And yeah, have a great day, night, whatever time it is for wherever you live. And again, hopefully see you in another video sometime. Yeah, thanks. Bye.